The Dragon Ball franchise is one of the most recognized animation franchises ever, touching generations of people in Japan and all around the world. Popular pretty much from the start, the series continues to electrify audiences, bringing the inner child out of old fans and drawing in young ones. Akira Toriyama famously keeps it simple, with the basic story structure being this: a terrible threat arrives, Goku and Co fight the threat, and somehow, against all odds, they beat the unbeatable Goliath in front of them. This very successful formula, co-opted by countless other animated series to excellent effect, didn't appear from nowhere. As Toriyama himself has said many times, Dragon Ball was originally based on Journey to the West, a novel written by Wu Chang'an in one of the 6 Chinese classics. Immensely popular throughout East Asia, the novel tells the story of Son Wukong, or in Japanese, Son Goku, the Monkey King, who after being punished by Buddha for staging a rebellion in heaven accompanies a monk and his 2 other disciples on their journey from China to India to retrieve 53 Buddhist sutras or scriptures to help the Chinese people. Along the way, the group come across various threats and have to find clever, often violent ways to deal with them, before ultimately finishing their quest and attaining heavenly rewards. When reading the novel, its influence on Dragon Ball is apparent, although some finer details often go unnoticed. That's why today we'll take a look at Goku and Son Wukong, analyzing everything the 2 have in common to learn a little bit more about both works, and above all, about our beloved franchise. Journey to the West starts off with the birth of Son Wukong, whose name means monkey awakened by the emptiness in Chinese, a reference to his change from a hot-tempered monkey to a peaceful enlightened being. Son Wukong was born from a mythical and immortal rock on the mountain of flowers and fruits. He discovered the Water Curtain Cave by jumping through a waterfall, and his monkey tribe named him king for this achievement. In Dragon Ball, the hot-tempered baby Kakarot falls off a waterfall cliff while his adoptive grandfather is carrying him, putting him in a coma. When he wakes up, all his memories and evil thoughts he could have had as a Saiyan disappeared. His grandfather named him Goku and gave him his surname, Son. As we mentioned before, Son Goku is actually the Japanese translation of Son Wukong, meaning the 2 characters have the same name. In Journey to the West, Wukong and his monkey tribe enjoy unrestricted freedom and joy, not dominated by humans or any other creature on Earth. One day, however, Wukong's happiness gives way to sadness as he realizes that he and his tribe will all grow old and die, becoming subjects to the King of Hell. After one ape tells him of 3 types of creatures that don't die, he goes to find them, eagerly seeking immortality for himself and his tribe. In Dragon Ball, this moment is paralleled when Goku transforms into a giant monkey for the first time and unknowingly kills his grandfather, Son Gohan. Without knowing how his grandfather died, he decides to keep the 4-star Dragon Ball in his name, effectively immortalizing him through it. In search for immortality, Wukong visits the Buddhist master Subhuti, who initially mistrusts the monkey as he comes from a distant and unknown place. Wukong manages to impress him, and Subhuti decides to take him as his disciple, teaching him among other things the art of transmutation, or being able to transform into any life form or existence at will. He also learns the cloud travel, which enables him to walk on top of clouds while being able to travel thousands of kilometers with just one jump. One day, Subhuti found Wukong boasting of these abilities and made him promise never to confess where he had acquired such powers. Goku took a similar path. Master Roshi, an immortal sage, trained Goku alongside Krillin on Kame Island, teaching them martial arts and many incredible techniques, including the Kamehameha wave. Roshi also gave him the Flying Nimbus, a cloud that allowed him and anyone else to ride through the sky, provided they were pure of heart. Another iconic reference to Journey to the West was Goku's Power Pole, a staff that could expand and contract at Goku's command. Son Wukong possessed the Ryu Ye Bang, a magical staff originally used to measure the depths of the sea and which soared through the skies with its height. The staff found Wukong as its legitimate and acclaimed user, and despite weighing many tons, Wukong carried it with him, often shrinking it into a needle. The staff also controlled the tranquility of the seas, which Wukong diminished by taking it from its historical resting place. As was already mentioned, Wukong learned the art of transmutation, being able to change his form as he pleased, and even being able to change the shape of each hair on his body at will. As useful as this ability was, it had one drawback. Every time Son transformed, his tail would remain unchanged. Clever enemies recognizing his tail were able to use this weakness against him. In Dragon Ball, Goku loses all his strength when someone grabs his tail, becoming powerless and unable to fight back. Additionally, getting rid of his tail rids him of the ability to transform into a great ape and leaves him a bit weaker than he was before. After Wukong stages a rebellion in heaven, Buddha traps him underneath a mountain for 500 years. He's only free when the monk Tan Sanzang, on a journey west to India to retrieve 53 Buddhist sutras, requests his company on the quest. Along the way, Wukong and Sanzang meet 2 more cohorts, the Sand Monk Sandy and the Pig Pixie, who join the group after initially distrusting them. The same happens in Dragon Ball, as Yamcha starts off as a desert bandit who fights Goku, and Oolong, who starts off as an enemy but later becomes an ally, is literally a pig. After the journey, the gang run into monster after monster and threat after threat, just like in the original Journey to the West. Like Goku, Wukong could be quite temperamental, and the best example of this is when he caused a rebellion in heaven. After Sun tricked the King of Hell and came back to Earth without reincarnating, the Jade Emperor, hoping to stop Sun from messing up the balance of life and death, brought him to heaven, thinking that his promotion would calm him down. However, the gods constantly looked down on him, and this disrespect reached a high point when the 4 heavenly kings laughed him out of a banquet he wasn't invited to. In retaliation, Wukong declared himself a sage equal to heaven and ate the peaches of immortality and pills of indestructibility. This outraged the emperor, who sent an army to arrest him. They lost, and Wukong ended up causing such a commotion that Buddha himself had to imprison him beneath a mountain. In Dragon Ball, we see a possible parallel in Goku defeating the entire Red Ribbon army by himself. And of course, the 4 heavenly kings are the direct inspiration for the 4 Kais and Kaioshins, and immortality plays a big role in Dragon Ball too. In fact, Master Roshi is immortal, and he was planning to use the immortal Phoenix to give Goku immortality, but the Phoenix died from food poisoning. Villains such as Vegeta and Frieza sought the Dragon Balls to become immortal themselves. Before he was trapped beneath a mountain, Wukong was captured by some extremely powerful deities and forced to be burned in the Sacred Forge, where it was believed that he could be annihilated once and for all despite his indestructibility. After 49 days, the forge couldn't stand the monkey and exploded, and a new Wukong emerged, full of rage and stronger than ever, ready to destroy the heavenly beings. Goku's ability to come back stronger after each fight is reminiscent of this, especially his gargantuan jumping power on Namek, leading him to becoming a Super Saiyan after he saw Krillin die. As you can see, Toriyama packed his Grand Space Odyssey with plenty of references to Journey to the West, and we've only scratched the surface. In his earliest sketches, Toriyama envisioned Goku as a monkey boy with Chinese clothes, a cloud, and an ornate staff, very obviously like Son Wukong. As time went on, he changed Goku to a human boy with fur clothes, and then finally decided on a spiky-haired boy with a tail that we all know and love. The earlier Dragon Ball manga's art style is more reminiscent of Chinese animation than later Dragon Ball is, as Toriyama had the Chinese style in mind when creating the manga. Finally, we must mention Goku's most iconic form, Super Saiyan. Although Toriyama has said he made Goku's hair go blonde in the manga so his assistant wouldn't have to color it in, it is possible that he took inspiration from Journey to the West once again, as Son Wukong is often noted to have blonde hair, or sometimes black or red hair when he's enraged. Having seen all these examples of similarities between the series, a newfound sense of appreciation for both the original story and Toriyama's fantastic manga emerges. Both are excellent adventure stories full of wonder and exciting fights, and the imagery in them is outstanding. Perhaps unwittingly, Toriyama continues to take from Journey to the West even today. In the original story, after the characters retrieve the sutras, Son Wukong ends up becoming a Buddha, escaping the cycle of life and death. In Dragon Ball, Goku ends up becoming a god himself after meeting Beerus and training under Whis, and he continues to hone his godly power in every chapter and episode. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm your new host Alex, and I'm going to be hosting a lot more videos alongside Ro and Adrian. Until next time, see ya.